Okay, I have been dying to get this out, and this might just be one of my most vulnerable episodes yet. I can't promise feelings won't come up. I don't know. I have put all this down and I haven't really went through it. We're going to kind of unpack it together. So I hope you're ready. What is today about? I want to share with you the top 10 things I would have done differently when I was married. The top 10 things I couldn't see when I was married. The top 10 things that maybe if I practiced them, knew them, maybe I'd still be married, maybe I wouldn't. But I know some of you listening are in relationships that you want to improve. And I don't think the solution is always to leave. So I'm going to share with you my top 10 things, and I'm going to try to give you some real life examples. But before we get into the top 10, I was talking to someone the other day and I shared with them the reason I am so passionate about energetic frequency archetypes, why EFA was born, was because I needed to figure out why I left, why I did the things I did. Why would I choose to leave a situation that to so many people looked like a great situation? Like, why would you do that? I also left a lot of good corporate positions that were really good. And I always knew something was off, but I didn't know why. So EFA helped me to understand why I left, why I did what I did, why I made that choice in corporate, in my relationship. And it brought me so much peace. But even more, it helps me to make decisions now and for my future that are in a better aligned scenario for me. So, first one is appreciation. You know, it's very easy for me. I would say all the time, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I always show appreciation. I don't have a problem saying thank you. We'd go on vacation. Thank you. We'd go to dinner. Thank you. I have to laugh. But when I really sit with it, if did I ever look him in the eye and say, honey, I know how hard you work for our family, for us. I so appreciate all that you do for us. I think about it and it makes me emotional because I think so often we take for granted the situation we're in. We take for granted where we live. We take for granted what we have around us. We take for granted where we're working. We take for granted the people we work with. And our brains are so focused on the problem. And so, yeah, it was easy for me to say thank you. I said thank you all the time. I taught my kids to say thank you. But did he feel appreciated? No, because the way I said thank you was too casual. It was too automatic. It wasn't, I mean, I meant it, but he couldn't feel it because I didn't take enough time to really express how much I appreciated what he did for our family. So, sharing appreciation to your person. Maybe they're not doing everything you want them to do. Maybe they're not doing everything right. Maybe you feel like they're fucking up a lot. But what is it that you do appreciate when they do the things that make you feel good, make you feel special? Do you really stop and recognize their efforts? Number 2, I wish I had given more of what I wanted to receive. I'm going to give you like the biggest example that comes to mind is compliments. So I don't want to, put him under the bus here, but I remember early on in our relationship, he said, well, I'm going to give you compliment because then your head's going to get too big. I resented that. And if you're a man, I would recommend never telling a woman that or keeping that mindset. He was young, it was a long time ago. I don't mean to put him on Front Street, but that comment that I resented made me never want to compliment him. And compliments in many ways. I'm not just talking about physical appearance, but that's one, right? If you spend a lot of time, effort, energy, money into trying to present yourself nice and you want to be desired by your partner and they don't say, damn, you look good. You're beautiful. And by the way, this is just an aside. If you're dating, I don't care if it's your first date, your fifth date, and you see the woman and she looks nice, you think she looks nice, tell her. Don't hold it. Don't be selfish with your compliments. There is not scarcity. If you give a compliment, you're not taken away from the world or yourself. Give them freely. And so I should have given what I wanted because there were so many times that, he's an attractive man. There were so many times he would put something on or look attractive and I thought it, but I never said it. Men want to hear too. Hey, you look good. You look nice. Like that shirt, like that. So we want to give the thing that we want to be what we want to receive. So if I want to receive support, then I want to give support. If I want to receive affection, I sure hope I'm given affection. Number 3, I wish that I understood my wounds. I wish I even knew what the heck that was. And if you don't know what that is, we should talk. For so long, I didn't realize that I was operating from an unworthiness wounds. There's a lot of wounds out there: control, abandonment, pain and suffering, just different ones. And we can have a little bit of different ones, but usually there's one that's kind of running the show more than others that we're kind of meant to work on till we can get to the next one. And so this one was kind of running through the next 2 that I'm going to talk about. But one of my wounds, and I'm still working through it, is, am I smart enough? And there are people that activate. I say that there are people that activate certain codes within us that bring certain aspects to us online. Well, that includes wounds. And so that dynamic activated my worthiness wound big time. Probably because when I met him, I thought he was attractive. He had a lot of positive traits going for him. He was smart. He was intelligent. He seemed to have good values. He was a loyal person. There was just a lot. And so I didn't know it at the time, but I probably didn't see myself as being worthy. And so what happened there was a lot of me trying to prove I'm smart too. So whether that was in correcting him as he's talking, challenging something he's saying, it brought a lot of my masculine energy online. And it's interesting because as I'm out in the dating world now, there are some men that I will go out with and date that activate that code still. But I now notice it and I'm not as interested in continuing dating those types. And I know that I still have to continue to work on that wound within. I'm not here to prove how smart I am to anybody, especially to a man. because that's not something that they're necessarily looking at as the most top trait that they love. Not that men don't love intelligent women, but that's really not what's going to be the sustainable thing long time down the road. How smart you are, right? But it got me in a lot of trouble because when we would get into good conversation, it was like, and I wasn't doing this consciously. I was doing this subconsciously, but constantly in this, like, I'm gonna outdo you and what I'm saying and what I know, and I'm gonna correct this. And again, this is not something I saw ever or noticed until after I left and I started doing the inner work. So constantly just defending. Number 4, which kind of leads into, I wish I knew I was competing to prove that I was enough. So in the first example, it was, I'm smart. Hey, I'm smart. I'm smart enough. And this one was, I'm good enough. I'm capable enough. So I wasn't waking up thinking, hey, I need to compete with my husband, but I was doing it all the time. Our dynamic was very competitive. If you're competing in your romantic relationship, that doesn't translate really well in romance. Men want to feel and experience a softer version of you. I remember he used to say, yeah, like I love what I was attracted to. I love like that strong woman, but like do that like to other people. And I never really understood what he meant. It's like, what do you mean? I can't, it's who I am. Can't turn that off. But what he was saying is be strong and fierce, maybe in business or in these other situations where that might be applicable. But in romance, it's not needed, not so much. So 3 and 4 are really about recognizing that I had these wounds I was operating from and wishing that I understood what those were. And then the last one was not competing with him. Number 5. Well, I really wish that I understood his wiring. I had an idea, but EFA, energetic frequency archetypes, was not born yet. I've used a lot of different personality systems. So I had an idea, but one thing I didn't know then that I know now, even if something is natural for you, it doesn't mean you want to be doing it all dang day. So as a fire creator, I love reciprocal energy. I love engaging, talking with people. You could put me, I'm not saying I'm this huge extrovert that goes out and like talks to everybody, but I like energy exchange. So let's say I'm speaking and I'm sharing my energy and I'm getting energy back from the audience. That's a great day. If I've done that all day and I come home, it doesn't mean I want to still be in that frame. I don't want to be that fire creator in the last 3 hours of my day. I'm not going to want to bring that. So what does that mean? Well, with him, he was very much an earth architect, and he was really great at details and planning and organizing and getting things done and many other things that come with that archetype. Well, I knew that about him, and I didn't necessarily love to plan, do all the things. So guess what? I let him do it all the time. 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Oh, you like planning? You like organizing? Do that. Oh, we're going on vacation? He'd be like, well, can you share some things that you want to do? Can you look some stuff up? I'm like, no, you're good at that. You got it. So, what I didn't understand then that I know now is you don't have a person, even if they're really good at it, even if it's their natural wiring, you don't rely on that with them all the time. They need to rejuvenate. They need to refresh, refuel. So if he's doing that all day at work, and then I'm asking him to do that all weekend, and he would do it for the weekend because he would coach basketball and things like that. He was always doing it. A person gets tired, even if it's their natural wiring. So I wish I understood his archetypal map better so that I knew, okay, this is what he likes, this is what he's good at, this is what's natural for him, but bro's going to need a break. And how can I step up? And even though it was something that wasn't my favorite thing to do, I could do it, I can do it, I do it. How can I step up and do that and bring that? Because the more he has a break, then the more, and I help, then when we're together, the more I'm able to bring my full self and he's able to bring his refreshed self. 6, I wish I had asked for what I needed vulnerably. So I'm going to give you an example. One of the things I had felt is I don't feel supported. I would say that all the time. I don't feel supported. You don't support me, which wasn't true, but it's how I felt. So it was authentic to how I felt, but not necessarily the full story. Did he support me in many ways? Absolutely. But the way I wanted to feel supported, there were a couple times I remember having like a big presentation and I'd be really nervous, right? One time I was speaking in front of the largest audience I was speaking in front of, and I was selling from the stage, and I was so nervous. And I felt alone because he didn't ask anything about it, right? He didn't say anything. I didn't ask for help. And I went and did the thing. I'm driving back. I remember being in the car. We're talking. He's talking about something. I'm like, in my head, I'm already setting him up for failure. Because in my head, I'm like, okay, is he going to ask me? Is he going to ask me how it went? Is he going to ask me? Does he care? He didn't even ask me. He doesn't even care. Doesn't he know how much time, effort, energy, how nervous I was? Like energy expenditure I just put into this thing? Like, doesn't he know? No, he doesn't even care about me. These are the thoughts, right? So I would say, do you want to know how my big thing just went? He'd be like, oh, yeah, I was going to ask that. Okay. I set him up like that all the time. And what do I mean by I set him up? How many times do you expect your person, your partner, to be there for you, to do something for you, and you never even told them that it was an issue? So here's what I mean by I wish I had asked for what I needed vulnerably. Hey, honey, man, I have this presentation coming up. Can we talk for a minute? Yeah, let's talk. Okay. I am so nervous. I have never spoken in front of an audience this size. I don't know. I'm afraid I'm going to forget what I'm going to say. I'm afraid I'm going to mess up. I'm so nervous. I just don't want to fail. And I feel alone in this. I know you can't help me with this. I know you can't go on stage with me, but I want to feel like you're supporting me. I want to feel you're with me. I want to be able to share with you that I'm scared. I guarantee he would have showed up so much differently had I expressed how I was feeling and what I needed. But instead, I would just say, yeah, you didn't even ask. And then he would respond with, well, I mean, I know you had this in the bag. Like, you're good at that. You don't need my help. I mean, I support you. And then he would list all the ways he felt he was showing support, whether it was, I gave you quiet time or I've invested X or whatever it is for him. But it wasn't what I needed. And nor did I share what I needed. So if you're feeling unmet in a particular area with your person, share with them how you feel first, like how you're feeling about the thing. And that doesn't sound like I feel this because you did this. That's not what that sounds like. I feel XYZ, scared, angry, frustrated. Like this is how I'm feeling. Right, wrong for you. doesn't matter, but like that's how I really, it helps me so much when you do X for me. Like, could you do X for me? So in this case, I could have said, could you check in with me? I remember one time I did ask and I said, hey, can you pray? Can we pray? Can you pray on me? I do remember asking once, but I didn't, I minimized what I needed. Hey, I need this. Can you do this for me? Can you check in with me? Can you whatever I needed to ask for it because men are not mind readers most of the time. That's 6. 7, I wish I had been more intentional about where I put my focus. So we were together for 25 years. And for a lot of those years, I was so focused on the problem. So I coach and teach on these 6 specific principles. One of them is the principle of focus. So where you're putting your energy. And boy, I was putting my energy on the problem, the problem. And he would even tell me, this was great. Why you keep looking at what's wrong? Because my brain was just focused always on fixing a problem. It's part of my visionary alchemist archetype. And it is a challenge for a visionary alchemist. They are looking, their brain is literally set to find problems. That's why we're really good at walking to a room and seeing what's not working and being able to come up with a different way of doing things more efficiently because we're programmed to find problems. Well, it doesn't work so well when you're married and your brain is constantly, instead of looking at what's going well, it's looking at what's going wrong. And so whether it was reading books, therapy, retreats, workshops, I mean, we did all the things. And I thought I was doing inner work. Get I want to say inner work is for you. And I used to think I am working on me because I'm reading the book, but I was reading books on the problem. I wasn't reading books on, so I would read books about the problem. I don't know if this is ringing true for you. If it is, I encourage you to share, leave a comment. So I'm reading relationship books and I mean, attachment styles wasn't even there then, at least to my knowledge, but that would be for an example. I would be reading books like that. Oh, this is why he does this. Or this is why I do, right? This is why I might do this. But it was always like, this is what's wrong. When I left is when I really understood what inner work was. And that was all here. It was all the things that I had to realize I was doing, my patterns, what I was bringing to the table. I couldn't see that in that dynamic because I was so focused on not me and my inner work. The problem. Number 8, I wish I had communicated what I was feeling in real time. It kind of goes back to sharing what I need vulnerably, but this is more about not letting things fester. How many times does someone in your partnership, they do something that frustrates you or it's cynic and you're like, I'm not going to say anything. It ain't that big of a deal. I don't want to like make a big deal about it. You know that thing just keeps, first of all, you keep looking for that thing and it just keeps festering and you become resentful. So had I brought up in real time how I felt about something, because when you communicate, you can clarify. A lot of times we make up stories about what something means. Oh, well, they don't do this, so they must not this. They don't do this, they must not love me. They did this, so they don't care. It's a story we make up instead of just talking about it. Hey, like I really thought that I was really hoping that I would hear from you about this thing. And when you didn't call, I don't know, it hurt. I never talk like that in my marriage. I don't even know if I ever said my feelings are hurt. I don't know if I ever, because I was strong. What do you mean? You weren't going to hurt my feelings. Come on. So being able to communicate in real time how you feel is so important. Number 9, I wish I had brought more of my fire creator in my marriage. So if this might be your first time hearing me, if you go back and listen to other podcasts or watch some of my videos on YouTube or see some of my content on Instagram, you're going to see a fire creator. I mean, I talk with my hands. I am Puerto Rican. But this person, she was there in the marriage, but she didn't come out to play a lot. It actually was my visionary alchemist, my heir, that was online most of the time. Do you want to know why? Because it goes back to number 4 and 5. I was operating from wounds. So my heir was always intellectualizing feelings. It was always talking about what I know. And so, unfortunately, I was coming more from the distorted because each archetype they can operate from distortion or regulation. And so, when you're coming from a healthy expression in your archetype, the air doesn't sound like I'm gonna prove you wrong. It sounds more like, oh, like it's curious. Oh, okay. Maybe he shared something that happened at work. Oh, tell me more. What do you mean? Like, what happened? How did you feel about that? But an air and distortion sounds like, oh, really? Oh, well, I would have said this. I don't know why that. I don't know why you did that. I would have done it this way. I'm not saying this sounds like you. Maybe it sounds like someone you know. Because in each of our archetypes, we can come from, I'm calling it distorted, but it's really the undeveloped, another nice way to say immature part. Hadn't matured in that way. And so because I was operating a lot from that place, I couldn't bring my fire creator online as much. She came out sometimes. And sometimes she only came out because she had a margarita, which that's a problem because you shouldn't need to have anything that brings out your natural self, right? I was like hiding her. And then she was allowed to come out if I had a margarita, especially from Lupe Tortilla. If you're from Texas, you just, if you know. So had I brought more of my natural wiring, now, yes, I'm high in air alchemy, but also my top is fire creator. If I would have brought her, my play, my silliness, that would have allowed him to come online with his play and silliness more and more. Because I saw it. It was there with his friends, but it wasn't with me because I activated in him, I'm sure, parts of his archetypes that is what created this competitive place. So for you, how can is there aspects, traits that you have that you're minimizing, that you're not allowing to be fully expressed for whatever reason? How can you express it more? How can you feel safe to express it more? Because that's a big one too. And maybe it's just you need to have a conversation, clear some things up. Okay, brings me to the last one. Number 10, I wish I was brave enough to tell the whole truth. So I've talked about this a little bit in other episodes. I would say half truths, right? Like, I feel disconnected. I feel lonely. I don't feel supported. I mean, that wasn't the whole truth, right? The whole truth was I don't feel any passion here. I'm not really turned on. By the way, guys, it's hard to be turned on to someone if you're showing up in your wounded ways. Maybe they're coming out as masculine energy, and then you're expecting your partner to take that and show you desire back, right? It goes both ways. So, how you're showing up in your relationship creates a dynamic and changes how they show up in that relationship. So, I am fully also responsible for not feeling passion. It's not just, you're not doing it for me. Yes, he could have asked me more about how do you feel? Like, how are you feeling about this? I mean, even that, and guys, it goes a long way. I just had a conversation with my son, just had a routine procedure. I'm going a little off, but I'll come back. Don't worry. I had a routine procedure and my son was great. And he took me and he did all the things. He did the checkbox things. He drove me, he took me, he made sure I got home, got me in the house. And then he was like, bye. I said, son, we need to talk. I thanked him. I appreciated him for taking care of me, for taking me there. I says, you did everything right. Everything I needed you to do. Thank you so much. I really needed you. And I did. But son, I want to talk to you about some things that you might not have seen in the home. And I don't know if it's something your dad talks to you about or not, but I'm going to talk to you about it. I need you to have more empathy, son. Not even just for me, but as you grow up and you have relationships, they're going to need your empathy. What does that mean? A phone call. Mom, how are you doing? Before you left me, Mom, you okay? Do you need anything? How are you feeling? Gosh, guys, how are you feeling goes such a long way. I can't share that enough. And going on as many dates as I've seen, it is not very common. So I want to help be a catalyst for y'all, for men to work on that. How are you feeling? So yes, if my ex-husband would have said more often, how do you feel? How are you feeling about this? How are you doing? How does that make you feel? One, I would have been a little bit more heart-centered and talked about how I felt versus what I thought. Two different ways to communicate, and it activates different parts. The more you come from the heart, the more vulnerable you can be, the softer you can be. So I'm not saying he could not have done a better job in some ways, but I'm saying that the way I show up, there's a cause and effect there for then how he's going to show up. So yes, had I said, hey, I'm not feeling any passion here. I'm not feeling this. I am bored to shit. I am so sick of this gosh darn routine of getting up and going to work and coming home and cooking and then watching the TV on the show and going to bed. Like, I cannot do this another day. Had I communicated like the real deal in real time, we could have had more real conversations. And we thought we were pretty real. But if you're not really saying the real problem, you can't really work on the real thing. You're just working on symptoms, right? Me saying, oh, I feel alone. I don't know how they interpret that, but maybe they think that they want to sit next to you on the couch a little bit more. That's not quite what I meant. So sharing more in real time, the real truth. You might have some real ugly conversations. Things might not work out. But guess what? I'd rather know that it's not going to work out than spend 10 more years not saying the thing, hoping things change. And they're not, by the way, if you don't get real, and not living a life where you feel alive and online. So had we had the real conversations, I don't know if we would still be married, but we could have totally changed the dynamic. So that was 10. This was a lot. I just gave you a lot of personal stuff that I hope you can apply to your own life, because this isn't about, should I stay? Should I go? Sometimes it is, which, by the way, I have the 5 completion codes, which is a mini course you can do on your own, which walks you through 5 different ways to identify, not just only in your body. There's physical cues, there's nervous system cues, there's thought cues, there's intuitive cues. There's all sorts of cues I've learned over the years to help me figure out in any situation, should I do this or not? That's what the 5 completion codes are all about. But this wasn't about, I'm giving you these 10 things, not about, should you stay in this if you're feeling like you're in a relationship that's challenged and struggling? It's not about that. This is about looking at your shit, not their shit, your shit, like really looking at, are you being the person in that relationship that you want them to be? Are you focused on what's good in them? So they're going to bring out the best in you. I hope you take these nuggets and you apply them to your relationship, to your personal life. If you haven't taken the energetic archetype quiz, you want to understand your archetype better, free quiz, recommend it. It'll help you to get a better idea of how you might show up in your relationship and work. But that's just the starting ground. I have different courses you can do on your own to work with your archetypes and identify your patterns and work on yourself. Do the inner work. If you want more personalized support, this is where a clarity session comes in, and we'll do a whole archetypal map and really point out all the stuff that maybe you haven't seen yet. And get started there. But you can get started for free, do the quiz, check that out. Subscribe if you like this conversation, if you want to learn more things about how you can be more of yourself, feel more alive and fulfilled in your work, in your relationships, and share this with someone who it might help. Until next time.